So even during all this COVID crap, I managed to get a pistol added to your permit because in New York, every single pistol that you purchase needs to be added to your concealed carry permit. Doesn't seem like that makes much sense, but doesn't make sense. That's New York firearm laws. Now, what I have here is actually my first 1911. I have had all sorts of polymer handguns, and I've even had metal framed handguns, but I have never actually had a legitimate 1911 before. And I wanted a Colt Delta Elite because I was a fan of the 10mm. I wanted a 1911, but I didn't want anything in that heathenistic 45 ACP. I wanted a 10mm because I've been a fan since the Tom Clancy novel that I read, Rainbow Six. It was mentioned in there, so I've always been a fan of that caliber since then. And I figured, well, I want a 1911, and I don't want it in 45, so let's go ahead and get one in the 10mm. I wanted the Colt Delta Elite, but we got all this Trump money thanks to this amazing virus that we have going on now, and I figured I would splurge, and that's what you see here. So I'm just going to give a quick unboxing of this firearm and kind of show some of the things off about it. Not a review or anything, just a more general overview and unboxing. And we'll take a look at it, and I'll see if I can give it a field strip. But again, I don't really have much experience with 1911s, so it's going to be kind of a learning experience for both of us. So what we have here is obviously this nice Dan Wesson box. Apparently, from a lot of the reviews I've read, Dan Wesson is like one of the highest end production ones that you can get, and any step higher than this, you get into custom land, which a little bit out of my price range for now, but this somehow was in my price range. Thanks, Trump. So we have the box here, a nice black Dan Wesson box. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around so we can open it up. And there we have the pistol in its anti-rust paper, so let's take it out and take this paper off. And here we have the Dan Wesson Kodiak 10mm Auto. This is a 6-inch barrel version. The standard GI 1911s are typically 5-inch barrel version. They make a 4-inch, which I believe they call the Commander, and a 3-inch, which I believe they call the Officer version. I'm learning my 1911s as I go along. Oh no, the safety's not off. Not on. We're all in danger. And speaking of danger, we're going to go ahead and safety check this. I do keep these loaded. I keep my magazines loaded, but you will see here that it is in fact empty in the chamber. So we have the Dan Wesson Kodiak 10mm in tritone. So the tritone, it has the black duty finish on the frame here. It has this matte stainless on the slide, which I really like. My Sig P238 has this matte stainless as well, and it almost looks like it has a gold hue to it. It's gray, but the way the light hits, it almost looks like there's a little bit of a gold hint, which I think they're playing off of with these sort of olive drab / brownish G10 grips here. And also the tritone, the third color you have here, is the bronze that you have on these controls, the slide stop, the ambidextrous safety, the magazine release. That all kind of blends into that slightly gold color. I'm not saying it's actually gold like Oscar or anything like that, but it's sort of just the way it diffuses the light. It almost does look like it has a gold hue to it. So looking at some of the features of this gun, obviously you have the 6-inch barrel, and it is a bull barrel, so there's no bushing on the front. And that's really interesting as I look around these 1911s and learn things myself. If I rack the slide back here, it looks like a bassoon. The barrel actually gets larger at the end, and the reason for that is so that it matches up with the slide here at the end, so it's not all the same length. It expands out here at the end to make a nice tight fit with the end of the slide and have a nice bushingless barrel. And of course, Dan Wesson, they mark it with match, so it's a match barrel. You look at the top there, it also says 10mm. Again, you have your ambidextrous safety, you have things like a skeletonized hammer here. You have your beaver tail with the palm swell. I'm learning all these grips. It's almost like I've been dealing with these 1911s for a while, but again, this is my first 1911 here. You have the mainspring housing here, which is nice and straight. That was one of the things I wanted. I don't like the curved mainspring housing. I also don't like that bobtail thing that they do with the 1911s. That's why I'm glad this is nice and straight here. You have a trigger, which is I do wish it was skeletonized, though. That I do prefer the look of that, but it has a very nice light trigger pull. Oof, that's a beauty. That's one thing. No matter what you say about the 1911s and how many world wars they were in, and Glock's better this and that. That they do have some nice triggers on them. Definitely not getting that with a Glock trigger. I do have a question now that I'm officially a 1911 over. How does it work? 1911 owner. How does it work? Do the kids just get off your lawn, or do you have to actually yell at them? I don't know. I guess I'll learn that as I go along. It has the accessory rail here, the one slot Picatinny rail there in case you want to add something to that. This isn't going to be a home defense gun, even though it is on my concealed carry permit, because it has to be. This is more going to be like a range gun, a race gun maybe. I just hope it's not a racist gun. Oh, sorry, Kyle Larson, didn't see you there. Uh, but the reason I mention that is because it's not going to be a home defense gun, so I won't add anything like a flashlight to it. But I was thinking maybe add like a weight to the front of it just to keep that 10 millimeter kick down. I don't know. We'll have to see how it shoots. It's a pretty heavy handgun. It's like 47 ounces. My Desert Eagle L5 is 49 ounces, so that should give you an idea of how heavy this thing is. It is all steel frame, and obviously the slide is all steel with the match barrel. It's got a good amount of weight to it with that 6-inch barrel there. That 6-inch bull barrel with a nice matte finish. Yeah, the slide. Look at that thing. And of course it's crowned, so it actually slopes in here at the barrel. Give you a view of this side. It has as well the mag well in the bottom here, and it comes with the 2 magazines with these bumper pads. So this is all stuff I had to learn about the 1911s. So when you just push your magazine in like normal with a flat palm, it will sit flush. If you don't have these bumper pads, you will have to push the magazine in with your finger because it will lay below the mag well. I have actually 3 magazines for it. I bought a Wilson Combat as well, but these are the 2 that came with it. Again, it's got these G10 grips on here in this like coyote brown / olive drab mixture there. I like the look of that, the striations, the stripe. It's got the checkering here, certain number of dots per inch. I'm not exactly sure. You can look up that on the website, but that's what it looks like. It's got obviously on the back strap as well. Sights, plain back sights, and fiber optic in the front. I kind of wish that it had a fiber optic in the back as well, but it's not that huge of a deal. I can replace that if I want. And it's got the Dan Wesson branded sights. The magazines are also Dan Wesson branded, 10 millimeter, made in USA. So it also has, let's take a look at the box here. Set the gun off to the side for a second. It's got this blue blow molded box here. Put this magazine in. One thing I don't like about this box is it holds 2 extra magazines plus the one in the gun, unless you have the 6-inch barrel, which in that case, it's too long to actually fit in with a gun. I don't keep the guns in the cases that they come in. I typically put them in like a Pelican case, or if I'm going out and taking a bunch of handguns, I have a GPS handgunner backpack that I actually use. But still, if you want a case that can fit all the stuff you have for your firearms, so you don't have to go buy something else, you would think that you could fit the barrel and the 3 magazines in and not have them overlapping each other, but I guess that's not the case here. We have, as we move up here, we have your standard lock, which I'm not even that much of a good lock picker, but those things are incredibly easy to pick. They're almost a waste of time. You got your manual here. Let's move this box off to the side now and bring the gun back over. Get more look at it. And like I said, I'm not 100% familiar with these 1911s, but we'll see if we can field strip this here. So I would take the magazine out, which I've already done, flip the safety off, and then I know you have to pull it back. You have to pull the slide back so that the slide stop matches up with the little notch here, and you push in from the other side. Take this out. Take the takedown pin out, unless it's still new. Come on, there we are. Okay, got that. Now the slide will come right off the front. Not terrible for never having taken down a 1911 before. You've got your spring in there and your barrel. So push this forward. This is similar to a Glock here. Got your guide rod, your bushing, you can feel that these are very tight tolerances. And one thing that I know is different from a Glock, normally I would pull the barrel up and out here like you would in a Glock, but that's not how it works in 1911s. They actually have to come out the front. And again, these tolerances are really tight. Oh, I do know you need to put that little link down or it won't fit through. And here's the barrel that I was talking about. See how it actually flares out there at the end? It is like a musket. It's like something you'd see in a Bugs Bunny cartoon. But that's interesting. I have seen in another review, which I will post a link to because it's actually a review of this gun instead of my just inane babbling and unboxing and showing this off, that this coating, this bronze coating on this barrel actually wears off quite quickly. A little disappointing, but it does add character to the gun, and typically when the finish wears off like that on the barrel, it shows that the firearm has been tightly fit together. So you kind of want tight tolerances on these 1911s as opposed to something like these polymer, which, by the way, ADC pocket check, which I'm using to shoot this video with. I have a little LCP2 on me, so I'm not totally unarmed down here as I'm taking this gun apart. But here's basically your parts. You can see that's what it looks like. Kodiak. See my nasty finger cheese in those grooves there. I did look at YouTube, and there's some reviews of this gun, but there's not really that many where you can get kind of good close-ups and see the details. So just trying to give an overview here. Look at these tolerances. It's pretty amazing. See if I can actually give you a looking down the sight view. There, front sight. Slide. Barrel. Oh God, we're watching a James Bond movie. Now, it would actually be amazing if I could put these back together on camera, which, who knows? This will be my first time putting a 1911 back together. But I do know that the barrel came out last, so we'll go in first. And then it was this bushing, which has a nice little notch in there, so you know that that goes with laying on the barrel. Simple enough. And this has to be folded up. And this has the same U in there, so it kind of gives it away as to which direction that needs to go in. I think that's back in there properly. And then let's fit these together. And that's simple enough. And then I know getting these pins in can be kind of a bitch. That's one thing I'm glad that you don't have to deal with on the Glocks. But let's see here. Slide back a little bit. I'm actually going to take this in a Glock grip like the grip you used to take apart a Glock. See if I can drop this pin in here. If I can focus so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. At least it came well oiled, which is not always the case with things from Bud's Gun Shop. Okay. Almost got it. This I kind of have to do off camera here. There we go. That was a little bit of a pain, but again, I'm not entirely used to taking 1911s down. That would be the first time I put it back together. This takedown pin was a little hard to get into the slot, and you can feel the really tight tolerances, but I did get everything lined up and we're back together. There we are. All right, so that is just a quick unboxing and overview of my first 1911 here, 10 millimeter auto. Again, not that heathenistic 45. And there we have it. All right, one final look. Give it an overview. Can't wait to get out there and shoot this. Luckily, I do have land, and I don't have to go to any of those ranges and get infected with the Rona. But there it is. One final view. Hope you enjoyed this little unboxing here and dealt with my inane rambling. And there we have it. Take it easy, guys.